Gloria, welcome to Women Finding Clarity.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to have you here. And just a little backstory for all the listeners. I met Gloria at a conference out in Western Massachusetts that was put on by She's Local. And I it's interesting the way things work out, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
how sometimes you meet the people you're supposed to meet because when I
Mhm.
went into the networking event, it was like wine and past hors d'oeuvres. And
Mhm.
I have no problem introducing myself to people. And so I just inserted myself into a group of ladies who were standing up near the bar and I introduced myself. And then they continued to talk amongst the three of them like I really wasn't there. And I'm like, not the people for me. I'm going to go sit at this table over here. And I sat with Miss Gloria Williams. And
Yes,
I
you
feel like
did.
we never stopped talking the whole time.
No, we didn't. It was a great time.
It was a great time. You're a
Yes.
fascinating human being. The work that you're doing in this world is divine. It's the only word I can think to say it. So let's just jump right in and let everyone meet you. I want to
Okay.
start out by asking you this work that you do now, like I said, is so divine. What brought you to this place that led you to want to do this work?
Well, as getting my getting re going for guardianship for my granddaughter when she was a minor, she was 2 years old. I did my own work. My daughter, she didn't want to be a mom, I guess, or she didn't feel she could be that mom. And she said, "Mom, can you take my baby?" And I said, "Oh," I was shocked at first, but I did. And and then as time went on, I saw that she was not being coming forth to take her. So I said, I can't do anything. So I needed to go to court to get the legal guardianship. I did my own paperwork. I didn't have an attorney. I stood up for myself. And my daughter took me back and forth to court. She wouldn't show up. But then I explained to the judge, I said, no disrespect to you, Your Honor. I have a full time job and I need to support myself and my granddaughter. And she told me, she said, "Miss Williams, you will never have to come back to this courtroom. When I make my decision, I will call you on the phone." And she did. I was at work and she granted me guardianship of my granddaughter until she was 18. And from there, it was okay. Now I have this little one. What do I do? Um, I was working a full time job, still on the same job. Um, so I'm like, okay, she needs care. And at that time, my husband was alive. So he watched. I said, "You know what? You watch her while I go to work. And I'm in the midst of me working. I'm going to be making some phone calls because we need to put her in some type of daycare or something because I didn't want her to be home all the time." So we did. And I met this lady. I don't remember her name, but I do have the paperwork. And she said to me, she said, "Miss Williams, as long as you're a grandmother and you have this guardianship, your child care is free." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Let no one tell you that you have to pay for child care." So my granddaughter had child care free up until she was 15.
Wow.
And I was blessed. I was truly blessed to meet this young lady because she didn't have to tell me that. Because once you get the children from the courts, they give you no resources. You're on your own and you have to figure this thing out. So at that time I got the guardianship and I put her in childcare, and she went to the YMCA, and it was a joy because I still didn't have to miss work. And she got there, they had before and after school care, so she was there before 7. And I picked her up, sometime I pick her up early and sometime I let her stay and be with friends, and then sometime I took advantage of it because during that time you get a membership to the gym. So that worked out. It worked out for me. And and so after that, and then when she started actual schooling, that was her before school, so I could drop her off. The bus would take her to school. The bus would pick her up from school and bring her back to the Y. So I was secure in my job, and I was secure in knowing that my granddaughter had a safe place, and it was a family place because I met so many wonderful people, and and was able to really tell my story about how I got my granddaughter. So how I got to being doing grandparents in charge is I realized that there was no resources out there. And I thought I was the only grandparent going through it until you start talking about your story. So, and that's what made me open my business and, try to give everything that I've learned, just by going through my own experience to other grandparents that is going through the same thing. And not just grandparents, now it's great grandparents. So, and they have no clue. They have no clue of what's out there. So I took it upon myself. I used to, my oldest daughter, before she got into her business, I said, you know what? I need to go away. I need to think. And I would go to Washington, D.C., get me a hotel, have my laptop, reading books. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And then I got nervous. And my daughter, she was my big encourager. She was my big, she said, Mom, you can do this. She said, you're the first to do this, so you can do it. Don't let nobody else, take this away from you. And that's how I started. I created my own website, my first website, and I'm like, this wasn't for me. So then my daughter used to go to a BNI group, BNI group. And she said, Mom, this lady, she know how to do websites. I said, really? I said, okay. So that's when she introduced me to her, and she came to my home, and we just hit it off. And she's still my web designer to this day. It's a she's done a lot for me. I just want it to be unique, and I want it to be the colors that are vibrant, which is like a reddish orange. And it was a vibrant color for me because at that time it was in the fall, and I love that color. So that is my brand, and that's how I got started, because I want to give back, and I'm still giving back to this day. Mhm.
Gloria, you truly are just such a light in the world. And your website, first of all, is beautiful.
Thank you.
And I don't know how much you know about energy work or any of that, but I am an energy healer. I'm a Reiki
Mhm.
master, and the orangish red color that you use on your website is your
Mhm.
sacral chakra, and that's your energy center of creativity. And your confidence and your personal power. And so all of that energy, whether you realize it or not, is coming through your website when people just log on before they even talk to you.
Mm. Okay.
So all of the energy before anybody even hears your beautiful voice and hears your beautiful story, they're getting the energy of the sacral chakra, the personal power, the creativity is coming toward them already. And from what I already know about you in our previous conversations, that's really who you are. You're all about standing in your personal power and, you know, what's my next step, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And
That's true.
I
That's
feel like
me.
that's how you've navigated this whole thing. You were like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to take guardianship. What's my next step? And you figured
Yes.
it out. And then after you
Yeah.
figured that one out, you were like, okay, now what's my next step? And there's so much
Mhm.
wisdom in that, Gloria.
Mhm. Yes, it is. And I thank you. I do.
No,
It's
we all
it's
thank you.
because it's I could write a whole book about what transpired from the age of 2 until now,
Yeah.
because it's a lot. It's a lot. When she started school, I picked up on something from her, and I said, something's not right. So I wrote to the school. I said, I think my granddaughter has a learning disability. They try to dismiss it, but I wouldn't let them. I said, who gives a kid a F for math in first grade? No, she was in kindergarten. I said, who gives a kid that? And I said, nah. I said, you're going to test her and you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And they fought me. I fought 11 years to get her IEP. I would not give up. And then I was doing a whole lot of research. I'm like, she has something. And I knew it was a learning disability because the way that I would talk to her or read stuff to her. So what I had to do with her was I had to read first to her, then get the question, ask her the question, then go back and read it again to her, and then help her to underline what was the important parts of it. But then I said, it's still something. It just kept bugging me and bugged me. So I said, you know what? I did a little research. So then I found Boston's Children's Hospital, and they had this test on there for children with dyslexia. So I said, take this test. We're gonna find out what's going on here. So I had her take the test. I had her take the test, and sure enough, it came up. So then I, reached out to Boston Children. And at that time, she was in a charter school when it really got going. And I said, nah. And then with the charter schools, I said do you take children with IEPs? Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. But my heart told me different. And I never go against my intuition, never, because I know what I know. And I said, I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. Sure enough, I put her there. There was no interventions. There was just a teacher pulling her out of a class. So I said, you know what? This is my opportunity to do what I need to do for her. So what I did was I wrote to Boston's Children's Hospital and I said, I think my granddaughter has a learning disability. And I think she has some other things going on too. But I don't want to say, I just want to see if it comes out. So sure enough, I made the school pay twice. Made the school pay twice to take her to Boston's Children. And then when I took her to a doctor in Northampton, I'll never forget her. Her name was Dr. Katerina Chinchilli. And so she said, you're my tiger. And I said, huh? She said, you're my tiger because you don't give up. I said, no, not when it comes to my grandbabies. And no, I'm not going to give up. So she even came to the IEP meeting and told the school she needed an IEP. They dismissed it. I said, okay, they want to keep playing. So we're going to keep spending their money. And I did. And then when I they took her for testing at the Boston's Children's Hospital. The doctor there, she told me, she said, Grandma, you are on point. She said, you have not missed a beat. She said she has a learner. And that's what took it to get her an IEP. 11 years of fighting, but she got what she needed. And then she said to me, she said, Grandma, you know what? I don't want to go to that school anymore. I said, you don't have to, baby. I said, but we got to find out where you can go to that someone is going to follow through and where I could be that pit bull I need to be because so so that you get your education. And sure enough, she had a therapist that I said I don't want my granddaughter in just any school because I believe in education. I believe in children learning what they need to learn. So she said, you know what? Where does she want to go? I said, I don't know, but I know she loves to draw and she loves to sing and she loves to dance. So she said, well, I got the perfect school. I said, okay, well, we'll see. So we did take her to that school and she got into the school. I met with the young lady that was of the IEP and we sat down and talked. And I said, you might have your way of doing things, but I'm a grandmother that have a way of doing my things. And we're going to go by my way because your way is not going to satisfy me because, I wanted daily reports, weekly reports. I want everything. And they did it. And she was an honor student. She never missed school because I don't, if I don't miss work, what you need to miss school for?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she got what she needed and she was an honor student. She left ROTC as a second lieutenant. So she's an amazing kid. She's an amazing kid.
She's an
Very amazing
amazing
kid. So
kid.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, she's an amazing kid, Grandma, but she could have been overlooked. And you said, no,
Yes.
I'm advocating
Mhm.
for this child
Mhm.
because she's her own kind of brilliant, right? And
Yeah.
that's what's
Yes.
so frustrating is that if these kids don't fit into this box of standardized testing,
Mhm.
then there's something wrong
Mhm.
with them. And we're not going to focus on
Yep.
them. We're going to focus on the kids who fit, right?
Exactly.
Whereas her zone of genius lay in her creativity and in her artistic
Mhm.
abilities. But
Mhm.
where she was going to school, they weren't honoring that. They weren't seeing her. And so, A, kudos to you for being a dog with a bone and saying, no, 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 you're not going to overlook my grandbaby. And for taking her where she could flourish and she could shine.
Mhm. Yeah. It
Amazing.
was a lot of work, but I
Yep.
did it.
Yep. Here's
You
the
know?
thing, Gloria, I want to point out. First of all, parenting is hard, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
difficult. You have to get up every day and do the thing,
Mhm.
whether you want to do the thing or not that day, you're doing the thing because people are
Mhm.
counting on you. And
Mhm.
that's when you're young and you have more energy. So to be a grandparent, raising your grandbaby from the age of 2 years old
Mhm.
on up, A, how did you find the energy to do that? And B, what's the thing inside of you that kept you going?
Well, what kept me going? Well, what gave me the energy first? I was 42 years old when I had my second grandchild. So right there, I had energy. I had the energy. I wasn't a grandparent that I'm a family woman. I'm very family oriented. I will not shirk my responsibility, give it to somebody else. I don't care how hard it gets. I'm not a quitter. I'm going to fight to the end. And that's what I taught my children. They always said to me, Ma, you was in the military. I said, no, I'm not in the military, but I do have, perfectionist in me that I would portray onto my children because I wanted them to understand I don't want you to be a stat in society. I want you to be your own person. So that's what kept me going. And I couldn't disappoint my granddaughter. That was the biggest thing because she was already disappointed when she came into the world. Number one, my granddaughter came into the world deceased.
Mm.
So I saw God put life in her body. I was there when she was born. So she was purple and all that. But God and I went into the bathroom and said me a prayer. I said, God, this baby got to live. And I heard her scream. And I said, you know what? Now is my time that I cannot disappoint her when I took her because she already, no, the father wasn't there. My daughter wasn't there. And she only had me. So I was her source to keep her going. It was rough. Did I get angry? Yes. Yes, I did because at that point of my life, I said my last kid just graduated and I'm ready to, live my life because I was a young mom and I had raised three kids and I had to do what I needed to do to take care of my children. And that's what I didn't want to disappoint my granddaughter. Let her know, hey, no matter how hard it get, we can do this.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me my energy, knowing that I had a responsibility to her and knowing that I saw things that other people didn't see that probably would have hindered her growing up. But I was there to just watch everything and didn't miss a beat. Didn't miss a beat.
And you know what
So,
I hear in
so she
all
gave
of
it to me.
yeah, you know what I hear in all of that, everything you just said is she was an answered prayer for you.
Mhm.
And whether she knew it or not, you were an answered prayer for her.
Mhm. Because you're right. Because that's what I said to God. I said, "What am I supposed to do with myself now? My kids are grown. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?"
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed to have been in her life and still in her life, even though she chose to say, "Hey, Grandma, I need my space," because I was that strict grandmother. You're not going to friends' house. They're not coming here. And she told me, Grandma, I didn't have a teenage life. I said, what? I said, okay. I'm not going to argue with her because I know who I am and what I did. So, I wanted to protect her. And that's what I did. Made sure she was protected and got her education, you
Yeah.
know. And
And
your
that's
second
such a
question
gift.
was, mm-hmm.
Such a gift.
And what was your
Um,
second question?
my second question, you really already answered it, was what kept you
Okay.
going? And you said it yourself, like it was just your
Mm-hmm.
desire to make sure that she was seen and heard and taken care of and
Mm-hmm.
able to become everything that she
Mm-hmm.
was capable of becoming. And here's the thing, Gloria, whether you're the parent or you're the grandparent or the great grandparent, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to go through this period of their life where they think that they're
Yeah.
independent and they know all the answers and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I went through it. I'm certain you went through it. And then I came back around and was like, huh, I remember my dad
Mm-hmm.
saying that. Yeah, he was right about that. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember my mom said that, but I didn't want to hear it then. But she was so
Mm-hmm.
right. And she'll come
Mm-hmm.
back around and know those things too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because, like I say, I'm that person. What do you know at 18? You don't even know who you are at 18.
right.
And
Your brain's
I'm
not
I'm
even
that
fully
I'm that
developed.
person. Exactly. And that's what I said. I keep saying this to myself, and I'm gonna figure it out. And I keep saying I am going to pass me a bill that these children stay with their parents until they're 22. Because at 18, they don't know anything. 19, they still don't know anything. 20, they just feeling their way through. 21, they like, oh, I gotta get a job. I gotta do something. And 22, they get it. A light bulb will go on, or maybe it won't, but I think 22 is the age for these children because you see so many of our children homeless. For what reason? So that's a big factor for me. I think society needs to give us more time with our children, even though we get them to they're 18, but it needs to go beyond that 18 because they're just sowing their oats. They trying to,
Yep.
okay, well, what did I miss out on? Let me go out here and do this. They ain't thinking about no job and no college. They're not. They'll go to college. What they doing? Partying.
There you
So
go. It's so
I
true.
I just I just feel that society needs to change that age. If they can't become an adult until they're 18, they can't drink till they're 21. So why not give us another year to make it, make sure that they see what they want to see and feel what they need to feel. And I just feel we push our children out there. And my goal was to never let her go, but I guess she showed me who was boss.
She has other feelings.
But
But
she
you
was,
know what, Gloria?
yes, yes. So I
She's
had to let
blessed
go.
because she knows that you've got her back, right? And she knows
Mhm.
that
Oh,
you're her
yes.
safety net. And not all
Mhm.
kids have that. And so she's very blessed whether she realizes
No.
it or not. And
Yeah.
the example that you've set of taking your PhD in life, everything that you've been through, and you've now come full circle and you have created this business, Grandparents in Charge, for other people who are now
Yes.
going through similar things that you've gone through.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
what kinds of things have you learned along the way that now you either, I know that you are on boards and you offer workshops and things. So, what kind of things are you now shining the light for other people through what you've learned?
Well, what I have done is I try to remain positive with them because a lot of grandparents they feel negative. Oh, I am not going to get my grandkid. Oh, this, and I say, you know what? Here's what I do, and I tell them what I do. I said I journal out every day. The first thing I do, I put God first. No matter what I'm going through, he has to come first because you can't put him at the tail end and say, okay, I did it. Now what you going to do? No, he already know what we need. we have to put him first. Just put it in that journal. Hey, just talk to him like you talking to me. And they look at me like, for real? I said, if you got to curse, curse. God understands. And it's going to help you get stronger. That's why it came in my third book, Empowering Grandparents. And that's where you get stronger, because in the beginning, you're trying to feel your way, you're trying to figure it out. And at some point, you're going to feel that energy. It's like, you know what, this kid is dependent on me and I have to just do it. And I tell them to journal out, stay positive, put your music on in your house, take your grandkids out and take pictures. Because you know what? If you don't take those memories, they're going to come back at you. Oh, what did we do? Well, you didn't do nothing with me. But if you show those pictures to them, they're going to be like, oh, that's me. Look at you now, And I always try to encourage them. Make those memories, because guess what? If you don't, you're never going to have them. And that's what I did with my granddaughter. She wanted to go, oh, grandma. I said, come on, we gonna travel? We did a lot of traveling, and they wonder, are you rich? I said, no, I'm not rich. I just know how to do certain things, because we're not rich. But guess what? They have programs out there to put you on a budget. Budget your money. Take those kids somewhere. They don't need to be just seeing Springfield or wherever they live. They need to see something outside of it. I took my grandkids on a cruise. They love it. When we going again, Grandma? I looked at them. I said, ooh. But you know what? I did it. I took them to Puerto Rico and we just walked. You have to make those memories. And that's what kept me going. And that's what I do with my grandparents. I just say, don't be afraid. Yes. Stop worrying about your kid, because they grown. But these babies need somebody. They need somebody when they have that nightmare at night, that you're there. You're not waking up, oh, what you crying for now? No, they need that love. They need that hug. They need that support to say, you know what? Somebody's there for me when they felt alone, because they have emotions just like us. Just like us. Because here's my thing. We as adults can show emotions, but we have to be responsible enough to let the children show their emotions too, because we don't know what they're feeling. We don't know what they went through before we got them. So you have to just step back, let them have their moments, but also have it in a disciplinary way where they understand that they cannot disrespect you, because that's what's happening. Oh, well, no, you can't go, oh, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. You need to put some type of disciplinary. My granddaughter, when she want to act up, I said, you know what, I'm going to use your hand for penmanship. We going to learn how to write. Okay?
Yes.
I'm going to write. You're going to write 100 times. You're going to write 1,000 times. Grandma, because you know what? If I don't put you straight, you're going to be out there doing something else. So penmanship, she taught herself how to cursive write, which they don't teach no more. But
Right.
sit down there.
Right.
Yeah. I said,
And
do 1,000 times.
And exactly what
Because
you
you
did
learn.
for her is what you're now pulling forward
Mhm.
and doing for other people. You're saying, I've been through this.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. Let me help
Mhm.
you. Right. And
Mhm.
so you've come full
Yes.
circle in that now you're making these opportunities and this guidance available for other grandparents
Mhm.
so they don't have to struggle and
Oh.
try to figure it out on their own. And that
Mhm.
is just beautiful. I feel like that's the way life is
Mhm.
supposed to be. Let's shine our light
Because yelling and
until,
screaming is not going to get nothing.
right. And
Yeah.
let's shine our light
Yeah. It's
until
not going to
the
get
other
you.
person is
Yeah.
able to shine their own light, right? And that's what you do is you
That's
shine
right.
your light for other people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if they see you do it, they can do it. Like, how does she's working a full-time job. She got a business. She's writing books. She's this, she's that. And people come to me like, when do you find time to travel? Oh, you better believe I get mine traveling and
Yeah. Yeah.
because I love to travel. I love to see different things and I love to meet people. I love people. And one thing about me, I don't even have to say anything to people. They just open right up, tell me their whole life. And I just look, I'm like, why me? And that's the conversation that I was having this weekend with God. I'm like, because I went to go sign up to go back to school, go back to college to do a 9-month program for human services. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And every time I say I don't want to do it, God put somebody in my path. And I'm like, okay, God, I got it. I got it. I'm going to do it. And so I reached out to a young lady that was mentoring my granddaughter when my granddaughter wanted to go to college. And I said to her, and she's a Christian woman. And I said to her, I said, you're my mentor. I said, God gave me an assignment and I have to do it. I just can't give up. And I just need that support. And she emailed me back, you got it. What do you need? So we're going to set up a meeting so I can get the ball roll. I started it, but then I'm like, oh, do I really want to do this? But I know I need to do it, because not only do he send me grandparents, but on my job, we took in some summer interns. And I could tell this young lady had a problem, but she just was really shy and quiet. So then one day she came and talked to me and she said, Miss Gloria. I said, yes. And she said, I need to talk to somebody. I said, well, what's the problem? So she told me about her 2 nieces that they're not doing great things. And I said, well, listen, here's my business card. If you ever want to talk, I'm here for you and I will be there for you. And so the movie, I don't know if you saw it yet, Sound of Hope came out.
Oh,
Okay, so I went to see it twice already. I saw it 4th of July and I saw it Saturday. Beautiful movie. It's about a community, a church, 22 families adopted 77 children. And I told her, take your nieces to see this movie, because then they're going to see, if they don't stop doing what they're doing, how society is going to teach them how to act. I said they can do it freely or they can be under some rules. So you have to see this movie. It is beautiful, a beautiful movie. And the reason why I went a second time, because the first time it was my healing. And the second time I went to see it is because I needed to really hear that I need to do this course. And it's only 9 months with some internship. And I said, okay. And that's why I went back the second time. And it's a beautiful movie. And I think all grandparents should see it with their grandchildren and let them know that they're loved, because these children came from some really horrible backgrounds. And, and my passion is always children. And, my kids, I love my kids, even though they're grown, but I'm still there when they need me. I'm always going to be there, because guess what? They're mine. And I know nobody can take them away from me, because I did my job,
yep.
So, and and that's the thing I say to grandparents: love your grandkids. You know what? You raise your kids, you did the best that you can, and you did the best that you know how. Children don't come with books. Children don't come with instructions. You have to just, what your parents did with you, you have to do with your kids a different way, because it's always a different generation. And you can't go back. I can't go back into the 60s, because that's when I was born, the way my parents raised us. You have to keep it up. You have to keep up with the generation, because time is changing. And if you don't change with the time, guess what? What are you going to teach your grandchildren?
That's
I have
right.
a lot of grandparents tell me, "Oh, I don't know nothing about the computers." I said, "Yes, you do. They got so many free classes out here. You can go to college for free. They have this free community room. You can go for free." I said, "I have a friend that's 70 years old teaching computers. So don't tell me you can't learn." So I force them, I push them, because you know what? You might want to take a picture with your phone and you don't know how to do it, or you can't get that picture. Oh, I'm going to see this picture. How are you going to do anything if you don't go out there and learn something? So I
Mhm.
force them to do it. Don't take the word can't out of your vocabulary
Yeah.
and put I'm going to do it. That's it. You have to be, you have to have that power in you and that drive in you just to keep moving and never sit still. Because you know what? I keep saying, "Oh, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna retire." I keep looking. I ain't retiring because that's not me. I figured, you know what? That's my drive to get up every morning and go to work and empower these customers and let the customers know. So I'm like, if I can empower the customers, I can empower the grandparents because I have customers that call as grandparents. I had one lady tell me, Miss Gloria, your voice just soothed me. I said, oh, okay.
And
And she
that's
told
what
me she was raising up. Uh-huh.
I was going to, sorry, I didn't realize. I thought that you were finished that thought, but that's who you are. You're a soother, you're an empowerer, you're an inspirer, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what we need in this world is for someone to say, stop making excuses. Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And let
Mm-hmm.
me show you how to do it. And that's what is so
Yes.
remarkable about you, Gloria, is that
Mm-hmm.
you are all of that in this one package of beautiful, inspiring energy. And so I know that we're coming near to the end of our time together, but
Mm-hmm.
what are the names of your four books so that people can look on Amazon for them?
The first one I wrote was Grandparents Raising Grandchildren, Let's Build Stronger Families. The second one was a book that I wrote where grandchildren can interview their grandparents to see what their life was like because of COVID. A lot of grandparents passed on, so a lot of grandchildren may not get that opportunity, but they can take it to their family members and you know, help them to find out what their family was like. And my third book was a 13 lesson to empower grandparents to go to your governors, go to your senators, go to these people and let them know, hey, I'm a grandparent. I need help. And that was to let them know that you're not alone in this, because some of those senators and governors and people have grandkids, but they're not telling you their story because they have this image to keep up. I don't have an image to keep up. My image is to let you know I am authentic, I am real, and I don't mind telling my story to let you know that it's okay to do this. And my last book I wrote is grandparents raising grandchildren in this human sex trafficking society for today, because my granddaughter almost got sex trafficked, and that book was dedicated to her, and it came out this year February.
Mm.
And it was a story to tell, but I just thank God that I had that discerning spirit, that intuition, and knew how to ask God for what I wanted, because I said, you know what, it's no way. And that anniversary for my granddaughter is coming up on August 3rd, and that's when we almost didn't see her again. But you know what, I just thank God that he gave me the knowledge and the know-how, the talents, just to say it's okay. No matter what you're going through, it's okay. It's okay. And my favorite scripture in the Bible is Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. That's God telling you, no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, you're going to always come back and do it the same way I told you.
I love it. And you know what is so beautiful about that is no matter if you're Christian or you're any other religion or have any other
Mhm.
belief system,
That's right.
what's important is that you have a belief system, right? You have
Yes.
a rock,
Yes.
you have that
Mm-hmm.
guiding light that brings
Mm-hmm.
you back to center and,
Yeah.
that North Star that you can follow. And,
Mhm. Mhm.
I believe that through all of this, your faith is the thing that, your faith and that guided intuition that kept bringing you back. Nope, you
Mhm.
can do this. Here's the next
Mhm.
breadcrumb to follow. Nope,
Yes.
back to center. Here's your
Yes.
next breadcrumb to follow. And
Mhm.
Gloria,
Mhm.
you are a servant in this world. You
Thank you. Thank you.
You are a servant and you do it so beautifully and masterfully. And
Thank you.
so you're
Thank
so
you.
relatable. Your stories, I just feel like I would be in a corner rocking. And here you are, like, not only have you done the thing, but you wrote a book about it. And so I just
Mhm,
encourage all grandparents who are facing the responsibility, the honor, the all of the things of raising their
mhm.
grandchildren. I just encourage them
Yes.
to check you out. And so, where can people find you?
You can call me after 3. You can reach me at 413-788-0234, or you can go to my website, grandparents, the letter N, charge.com. You can find my books there as well. And you can also email me at grandparents3551@aol.com. I may not get to you within that 72 hours, but I will get to you.
Girl, can I just say how
And,
much I
it's
love
just
that?
because I'm,
Can I just say how much I love that you still have an AOL?
yeah.
It's amazing. Well, the link to your website is in show notes already. And so all anyone has to do is just click on that link and they can find their way to you, Miss Gloria Williams.